How much has your ego cost you? Well, my ego has cost me a lot. And by saying a lot, I mean sometimes almost everything. So what is an ego? What does that mean? People say, well, ego and pride comes before destruction, as our Bible says, but ego is a little different. Ego is when you have an inflated sense of self without anything to back it up. Ego is when you believe you're better than people, no matter what you've accomplished or no matter what standard you live by. Just because of your existence, you believe you're better, which is a very narcissistic, circled environment, very contained environment. And most of the time, people with inflated ego would not put themselves in a position to be tampered with or to be talked about or even to be given criticism, even if it's constructive. So what does this mean? I mean, where are we going here, Ray? Why are we talking about ego? Because your ego, my ego, has prevented me from doing and being and acting the way I want to in my world. It's prevented the holistic approach of who I am. It's damaged relationships with my friends. It's damaged relationships at my work. It's damaged relationships with my wife and my children. It's all preventable. The good thing about an ego is it can be let go immediately. It can be removed quickly. A lot of times what ends up happening in some of these places is that an ego is just something that is, it's a covering. It's a hedge that you put around yourself because you're really addicted to what people think about you. And you want to give that persona that you are everything anyone could think of positively and to not have anything negative in that conversation. So where has this failed me at? I just said it failed me everywhere. It's cost me everywhere. I have not been able to learn. I have not been able to receive criticism appropriately. I have harmed relationships. I have not went and sought relationships that I should have. But then that's what the cost of an ego was to me. The cost to other people for someone who is living an egotistical life or egocentric life is that we never get to see or hang around or be with the true person. It's always some chameleon that has been made up to try to fit in with the colors and the schemes and attitudes of a room. We never find out really who you are, what you're about, and what your purpose really is. So what I want you to do this week is to look at where your ego, because everyone has an ego. Everyone has this problem. It's hard to be self-confident and it not maybe come off to some people as egotistical. I would say masculinity has become egotistical. You know, even feminine traits have become egotistical. There's always a balance, but the balance is extremely hard in a world that's not balanced. Know that you're in an imbalanced world that's either going to go far left or far right. They're going to be, oh, you're being toxic or you're being a pushover. Then when you start standing up for yourself and start putting your foot in the ground and drawing the line in the sand, then you're going to be egotistical or you're going to have an ego or pride. So there's really no win in this on a broad scale, but there is a reason why you need to do this and you need to do it quickly is because it's preventing you from getting what you want. I'm not talking about what you think you want or what you like to tell people you want. It's preventing you from getting you what you truly desire out of this life. I am a Christian and I believe that I'm supposed to live this life out in a servant mindset, in a giving and loving way. But that doesn't erase the fact that I have been given a requirement to provide for my family, to provide for my community, to use this stuff that God's given us and go forth and prosper with that. And that gets really messed up in the prosperity gospel now. There's a lot of false religions out there that make all this that hyper focus on one part, and they leave everything else. So everything else becomes, I guess the simplest way to say it, it becomes legalism if it doesn't fit their one aspect of life that they're focusing on. What do we do when we're trying to stand up for ourselves and we're bouncing off the ego machine? Because sometimes being the victim you're being egotistical then too. Your ego is in the way. It would make people overdo their attitude, and it would make people underdo their emotions to try to fit in. So where are you trying to fit in? Where are you compromising your standards, your beliefs, your morals so it's easy? Well, that's where you need to start right now. You need to start there, and you need to draw the line in the sand to say, I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to allow people around me to either accept that or not. And it's not being disrespectful. Matter of fact, it's the most respectful thing you can do is to stand up in your own convictions. Now, you can become egotistic here, or your ego can get out of control here if you choose to think that you're already right about everything. And no one's right about all things. We all have perspectives that could be better, and we all have things that we believe that might not be 100% correct, but there is a standard that we have to set for ourselves that we won't come out of this box. But everything else should be up for negotiation to better your health, to better your work, to better your relationships. You don't know all these things. I don't know all these things. So I have to get help on these things because we all have blind spots. The people who are most egotistical or the ego driven people would honestly be the ones who could not take any kind of criticism, corrective criticism that would even remotely act like they were going to change. And that's tough because there's people out there that are convinced that the only person in the room is right is them, and you have to live with them. But that should be a mirror that you get to use on yourself, because there's a place in your life where you're just as stubborn and you're just as deceived and you're just as blind. Mine for a long time was with my fitness. I really thought that my weight and a lot of problems there was a contributing factor there, but I was the main factor. And it was because I was not standing up for myself in certain places in my life, which was creating an environment where if I play the victim in one place, I'm going to play the victim in all the places. I had to take responsibility. And by taking responsibility, I had to realize that maybe I'm not 100% right. And if I'm not right, that means I'm probably really, really wrong. I have to change everything if I want to get results. If you want to get better at your job, you can't continue to do what you're doing every day and expect the world to change to make it easier for you. That's your ego getting in the way. You're going to have to do the work. If you're a salesman or saleswoman, you're going to have to go make the calls. You're going to have to do what other people are not willing to do to get what you want, because there's no one going to hand it to you. And really the reason why you don't have it right now is because you've been waiting for someone to save you. There's no one coming to save you. The only person that is going to save you is, in my belief, is Jesus Christ. And once you build that relationship, the next life is taken care of, but this life has still got you written all over it. It's still something that you need to pay 100% attention to, and you're responsible for. And that responsibility is that when things are going wrong, there might be contributing factors that help that wrong, but it's your responsibility. So if it's your fitness, let's say you've got some weight to lose, or you've got a fitness goal you want to get to. If you're not getting to that, the reason why you're not getting there is because you haven't made up your mind. You haven't burned the boats. You haven't went all in on that something that you can physically do. So either you're lying to yourself or you're lying about what you want. If you want to make more money this year and you're in a sales environment, so that means there's no reason why you couldn't make that money this year. The only thing between you and that money is your ability and your willingness to step into uncomfortable positions, to get no's, to get rejected, then to find the people who will say yes. Now, can we get better at our presentations? Can we get better at our prospecting? Can we get better at our closing? Can we get better product knowledge and understanding how to portray and describe that to a customer? Absolutely. If you're not training and you're in sales, then you're dying. You're getting left behind. But if you're not training to better yourself in every aspect of your life, you're getting left behind. The clock doesn't run backwards, it runs forwards. So if you're not moving forward in every aspect of your life, and this is not a kind of a works-based thing, this is just reality. You put something on the counter, it doesn't move until you come back and get it. Unless it gets knocked over or someone throws it away, that will stay there until the counter falls down or someone has to physically move it. So there's things in your life that's that cup that's sitting on the counter. The only person that can move it is you. The only person that can change what's in it or change its location is you. It's not going to do it by itself. You have to go grab it. You have to manipulate whatever it is, and you have to move forward with it. You can't go pick the cup up and go walk around in a circle, set the cup back down the same spot, then expect something to change. You have to radically move yourself into a place where what you have truly written down on your heart that this is what I want to do. I want to be in better shape so my health is better. I want to perform better at my job to earn more money and to provide more value for my employer. Or if you're a business owner, so I can hire more people or I can be more prosperous. There's nothing wrong with making money in this world. What's wrong is most of us are not even showing up to the starting line to do what we are capable of doing. If it's relationships, you're going to have to step into these relationships. You're going to have to take the first, the second, the third, the fifth, the 20th, the 85th, and you're going to have to keep trying. It is not about if these things win or if you get the results. It's that, am I still progressing? And someone that is trying to improve in all places of their life very rarely has to look in the mirror and see an egotistical person looking back at them. Because if anyone can be just good at fitness, anyone can be just good at work, anyone can be just good at being a parent. We're not called in this world to be just good at one thing. We're called to be the best we can be in all them things. And that means some of your priorities will have to change. The priorities of what you think time off is and the priorities of what your personal time should be, because really there's not enough time in our lives to do probably what we're capable of. You might want to stop wasting some of that time on things that don't value anyone. Not saying you can, please have fun, but that should be a reward of what your labor has been. That shouldn't be the labor that you do. It should, a life that is nothing but relaxed will always be less than relaxed. It will be a stressful life. It will be a hard life. Either you're going to do the work today or the work will be done some other day with more stress and more anxiety in it. There's no getting out of this. There's no running from this. This is where we fall into this category. So why is this called ego has to be let go? If you're failing right now, if things are just not working for you and your back's up against a wall and you're not reaching out for help from somebody, someone who is good at something that you're doing. If not, in today's world, it is a simple, just type it on a keyboard to find a business coach, a counselor. Help is available. Now, you might have to weed through these a little bit because some people just want your money and don't want to give you value. But there's people out there who give you so much more value than what your money is ever going to be worth to them. That's the people you want to be around. If you want some suggestions, just drop me DM or private message and I will give you what I've done. Because I haven't gotten into my part and what I've done. And that's going to be in a later podcast. I don't want to just talk about me. I want to talk about what is most likely harming and holding you back. Because I've been harmed. I've been held back. I have not gotten what I thought I deserved. I've gotten a lot of things that I didn't think I deserved. And winning sometimes didn't even seem like it was in the same state as me. I always thought I was missing something. I thought that there was an equation, or I wasn't raised right, or I didn't have enough opportunity growing up, or I got a bad break, or this or that. None of that was true. It doesn't matter where you grew up. It doesn't matter how much money you have. or had a human being, man or woman, tonight that makes a decision to put that 1 foot forward and not turn back, and they're willing to go absolutely crazy, absolutely out of their mind for what they want out of this life. If it's to provide for your family at a higher level, it's to provide for your church at a higher level, if it's to be a better human being, a better friend, a better mentor, if it is to take your body and change it so you're not in a hospital bed, because there is certain things that we can prevent with our health. Someone else has the expiration date in their hand, and there could be diseases and there could be accidents that happen to us that are out of our control. The majority of the people that I see when I walk down a hallway in a hospital, the majority of them, some of that stuff was preventable. And the way you prevent it, get up off the couch, walk down the road. 8 to 10,000 calories a day is, maybe if you're an NFL football player or NHL hockey player, maybe we consume too much. We are, and that is another ego thing. We believe we're supposed to be given stuff. We're so consuming. We're not giving. We're not generous. We're not looking over our shoulder and say, hey, who am I supposed to help and provide for? We're only after what need. And a lot of times if you're running around in this world and the only thing you're looking for is what you need to get your needs satisfied, it's not going to work out real well. Because I lived that life. I lived that life where I was running through this world just looking to get every need that I had satisfied. I came out of that understanding that I never even understood what it is I truly needed, because I just made up a bunch of comfortable and relaxed stuff. And then on the other end of that, I achieved nothing. My achievements rose to the ceiling of mediocrity and then vanished. You spend years of your life working for something and you hit the ceiling of mediocrity and it just explodes and there's nothing left of it. Is that happening to you? Well, the reason why it's happening, the reason why you're going through this is because you don't really understand what you want. You don't really understand you. And you're addicted to what other people think about you. And it has to end somewhere. And it should end today. It took me many times of hearing these words before I decided to change. So here's the hope. Here is to hopefully someone watching this video making the decision that today is the last day. It's funny, it's got to be a last day before it can be a first day. You can change right now. You can change the next meal you eat. You can go strap on your tennis shoes and go for a walk. It's Saturday today. You can pull out a piece of paper and write down your schedule for next week and then stop lying to yourself and actually do what you say you're going to do. If 1% of the people who watch this physically stopped lying to themselves and did what was required for them to have what they desire, your ego is stopping you from doing the work. Your ego is stopping you from changing the diet, making the extra phone calls. Let's just say this, whatever your job is, when you write that schedule down, you physically do exactly every single thing on that list. If you're in sales, I'm going to call 50 people, you better call 50 people. I'm going to sell 3 products and call 100 people, you better sell 3 products and call 100 people. There's not any more negotiating. You've been negotiating with comfort and you've been negotiating with mediocrity for so many years that you don't have very many left. And I don't care if you're 17 or 77, you don't know. Your expiration date is held by someone else, and we are being given the opportunity to perform at the highest level with the highest level of technology that's ever existed. Success is physically 3 steps away from the majority of the people hearing my voice. But it has to start with you. Number 1, stop being a victim. Number 2, as soon as you get through being a victim, then get your ego, lay it on the table, and crush it. Be coachable. Go learn from someone. Read a book. I don't care if you haven't read a book since you got out of college. Go get a book and read it. and then do what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to do something, you better do it. You better stop lying to the people around you and stop lying to yourself. The person you talk the worst about and lie to the most is looking you in the mirror in the morning when you're brushing your teeth. Be a little bit kinder to that person. It's probably going to take some time for you to figure out that you're not lying to yourself anymore. I have to go do that work. So, as Mr. Golden would say, until next time, between times, we have another episode of Coffee with Ray. And as you can see the sign behind me, it says, don't quit. Do it. Right now. Not tomorrow. Not 10 minutes from now. Right now. Write the book. Get fit. Go sell $1 million this year. Go get it done. If you need help, by now you know how to get a hold of me. It's a simple message. It's a simple comment. Don't quit. Do it. I appreciate everyone. Let's go make this happen. Let's go quit lying. Let's go kill the ego. And let's go make this year the best first year of our lives. Let's stop negotiating with lies and start living in truth and doing what's required. Let's talk soon.